Hello everyone, today's video is going to be a get ready with me using all Sydney Grace products that I own, and this is also going to be a run over on all my recommendations, showing off their products, and I will also be talking about the Christmas in July sale. I am currently filming this on the 29th of June. All information I have came from one of the owners of Sydney Grace. I emailed and asked if I could have any insights before I could make this video. All the information I got was still a little bit up in the air depending on what was going to be the final go, but I do have some information for you guys, and you guys know my love for Sydney Grace. It was probably my first ever intro into an indie brand. I bought mystery bags years ago, and I have bought mystery bags almost every single year. I did a Sydney Grace recommendations video last year. I will link that one down below, and I also did a mystery bag unboxing last year of all 3 mystery bags. I will link that one as well. And honestly, most of my products, actually I think all of my products I have gotten through mystery bags. All I have done on my face already was I did do my Milk Hydro Grip Primer, and then I did conceal a lot of the acne and everything that was down in this area. First thing I want to do is conceal under my eyes, and I'm doing that with my Maybelline Instant Age Rewind concealer just to, I guess, brighten it up, do a little bit of something. But we are going to underpaint today. I do have a mixture of cheek products from Sydney Grace. So I do have some creams that I really love and enjoy, and then I also have powders as well. I have 2 shades per application. So I have 2 bronzers. I have Apple Cake here, which is actually the shade I'm going to be using today, and then I have Bon Bon, which is a little too dark for me. So this one here is Apple Cake, and then this one down here is Bon Bon. Apple Cake is a lot more, I guess, of a neutral tone. Bon Bon is definitely warmer and darker. I do have 2 highlights from the cream products that are in these little packagings. I have Sugar Cookie, which I just had this in a project. It's more of a pinky champagne, and then we have Paradise on Ice, which is definitely more pink. So this up here is Sugar Cookie, and then this down here is Paradise on Ice. Since I just had Sugar Cookie in a project, I can't remember if it was my 10 uses or my deck of panning, but we are going to be using the Paradise on Ice. I have 2 of the blushes. So we have Redwood National Park here, and then I also have Strawberry Cheesecake. They look very similar, but one is definitely more rosy and one is definitely darker. The top one is the Redwood National Park, and the bottom one is Strawberry Cheesecake, and we're going to be using Strawberry Cheesecake because I feel like I use this one less often. I also want to mention with the cream cheek products, they also have ones that are in one of these sort of, magnetic casings. So I do have a cream blush in Pink Hydrangea, and I have a highlighter called Morning Dew, and they're a little bit drier of a formula, but overall I think they're pretty much the same. I'm going to do bronzer, blush, and highlight with these products. So I'm going to put them on my brush, and I'm going to tell you right now, these are so pigmented. I personally like to underpaint with them because of how pigmented they are. I think they last all day though. They do not mess around. And these brushes I'm using for these cream cheek products are not Sydney Grace. They're a different brand, but I will be going over Sydney Grace brushes. We'll go over the blushes as well, but this is just the underpaint bronzer. I do really like these packaging, except when you do use them quite often, my bronzer is starting to crack, because out of all of them I do use my bronzer more often, so I am worried that this will dry out quicker because of the packaging. Then I do highlight next. and I use a bigger brush for this. I think these are big enough to get a brush into. I haven't had any issues with them. Like any cream products, they will go bad quicker than powder products. So you know your collection better than anybody else. Make sure if you are going to get a cream product that you want to use it and you're actually going to use it. I don't notice any funky smells out of mine, and I have had them for a year. And we're gonna go into the strawberry cheesecake. I don't usually use all three of them together. These are all very, very pigmented, as you can see. So you really don't need that much. I personally don't ever use this amount of product all at once for the Sydney Grace or any type of cream products. But I think this is a very natural look, and especially we're gonna put, you know, foundation on top, but I just wanted to show you guys all the different products. I'll do my foundation, my brows, and we will get on to the sale. Did my foundation, did my brows. I will say today was the last day of using this e.l.f. foundation. You can see that it is windowed, and I have been pushing this for days, and today it finally gave its last hurrah. Counting it as an empty, perfect timing, because July is when I do my mid-year inventory. I wanted to talk about my brows. So I did fill in my brows with a pomade like I usually do. I want to showcase that Sydney Grace does have a brow gel. They have clear brow gel, which is what I have, and they also have colored brow gels as well. They also have a brow palette. The reason why I have to keep on going into the brow gel is because I'm currently on my last leg with the brow gel. So when you first get it, you get quite a bit of juice coming out onto the spoolie. This here is the spoolie. It's a nice and small spoolie. Really enjoy. I have no issues with this brow gel. It's just that I have been using it so much, and it's been my daily brow gel, so at this point it is getting a little low, so I do have to do multiple dips into the product. Sydney Grace has a huge range of products, and we're going to go over all of them, or at least most of them. I love that they're expanding the line. Personally, in my opinion, nothing, and I mean nothing, against the indie brands that just have eyeshadows and like just have lip products, but I feel like you truly made it as a brand when your brand has a larger selection of products. Like, you could go on and do pretty much a full face on Sydney Grace. If I were to buy one thing from the sale, it would probably be their mineral foundation. I really want to try it. It came out a year ago, 2 years ago, and I really want to try it, and I have not figured out what shade I will be, and I'm hoping that they restock some of the lighter shades. I'm going to let my foundation and everything sit, but I do like to underpaint because it does give a more natural sort of look. So if you're doing a no makeup sort of thing, you could do all your underpainting and then do a skin tint or a light coverage foundation on top, and it'll kind of just mesh it all together like it would be your natural skin tone. But I'm gonna let my skin sit and settle. They do have a loose powder. I used to own it, but it was one of those things, I had so many loose powders, I knew I wasn't gonna use it, you know, in a timely manner. So I did gift it to an online friend. It seems like she really enjoys it. That is another thing that I would like to try, and I kind of regret decluttering that. It was brand new, like still had the little plastic thing on it and everything. But I wanted to talk about their eyeshadows. They have a few different types of eyeshadows. Sydney Grace is a more, I guess, everyday person appropriate brand, but they do have amazing cream eyeshadows. You guys know I've been pulling these in during my Project 10 uses. So I have definitely got 10 uses on these two shades. We have Divinity, and these do not mess around. You put them on your eyes and they stay like forever. Divinity is on the top. I much prefer this shadow compared to the one underneath it. And then I have two other ones. I have Golden Horizon, which I really enjoy this one as well. I do have a kitty here with me, but I have the nice pretty gold, and I have a darker shade called King's Canyon. I really like to use this more as an eyeliner because look at those colors. I will not be using any of these cream eyeshadows in today's look. My sister started FaceTiming me, so I kind of went and did that. But while I was on FaceTime with her, I powdered my under eyes and I did my eyeshadow primer. We talked about the cream eyeshadows. If you are a cream eyeshadow person, they are 110% up your alley. Just make sure you pick out a shade that you would love. You put them on the eyes, they last forever. And they are super easy to blend out, and there is so much product in there that you are never going to finish it. I really enjoy those cream eyeshadows, except I am not really a cream eyeshadow wearer, and I am really wondering when they're gonna come out with eyeshadow sticks, because I feel like that would be the next best option, especially since cream eyeshadow sticks have been very popular recently. I wanted to talk about the powder eyeshadows. So my friend here, DW here on the YouTube's Dub's Beauty Diary, she gifted me Tiny Marvels. I did not own a standalone eyeshadow palette from Sydney Grace until I got this palette. And this is the palette we're going to be using today. And then yesterday I went through all of my singles and I condensed them all to 2 palettes. You are going to be seeing an eyeshadow palette collection video soon, where I have filmed that probably about a week ago now. And the eyeshadow, my single eyeshadows were all separated kind of by brand, kind of not. So they're still in my AOA palette. So this one is more warm tones, greens and blues and yellows. And then this palette here is cooler tones, pinks and purples. In these palettes, all of the mattes are Sydney Grace, and I would say about half the shimmers are from Sydney Grace. So their mattes are beautiful, and their shimmers, they are an everyday person sort of acceptable shimmer. They do have some more special shades, but I was told that they are not able to restock any of the out of stock multi-chromes. If you were hoping to get some multi-chromes on the sale, if they're already out of stock, they're not going to be restocked. But they do have single eyeshadows, beautiful formula, and they do have a plethora of pre-made eyeshadow palettes. Within this week, they are going to release 2 new eyeshadow palettes. So the first one is going to be called Cozy Cafe Neutral Browns. At this point in time that I am filming, they have not shown the palette yet. A lot of brands have been doing a cocoa coffee situation, probably because of the color of the year, but that one's going to be neutral, cooler toned neutral shadows. And then they also have Desert Bloom, which the packaging on that is gorgeous, but it's definitely warmer tones and some oranges, a little bit of blues and stuff in there. What I love about Sydney Grace is for pretty much all of their pre-made palettes, they do have a light and a dark version, where most of the shadows are the same. It's just the, I guess the lighter side of the palette have changed a little bit. The darker side of the palette has changed a little bit to better suit the skin tone of a light skin person versus a darker skin person. So I love the versatility that Sydney Grace gives in that regard. Like I said, we're gonna use Tiny Marvels, and while I am doing my eye look today, we are going to go over all the Sydney Grace sale information. I love their eyeshadows. Also in that video that will be coming up soon-ish, I don't know when it's coming up, my eyeshadow palette collection video. Fire Butts here is the only shade that I swatched in that video. So you guys know I must love it. I really want to do a video using my singles as a whole, but we are going to be using the Tiny Marbles palette, which I do believe is still available for you guys. So, sale details. This is the only sale that I actually will promote. I know a lot of people talk about the Sephora sales. You know, they do Sephora recommendations and all that. I could care less about the Sephora sale. It is not a good sale, like 20%. You're not getting much off. Sydney Grace sale, they do a big sale in July. Usually it's the end of July. I was not expecting it in the beginning of July this year because the owners, I believe there's multiple owners, and I think all the daughters graduated high school and they are going to college. So because of that, and they want to spend more time with their daughters, they are doing the Christmas in July sale in the beginning of the month instead of the end of the month, which is completely understandable there. It is going to start July 7th, 9 a.m. PDT time. What is that time? I think they're out of California, maybe? I have honestly no clue. I don't know what time zone that is. I live on the East Coast, so. Like I said, we're having 2 new palettes. We're going to have the neutral, the cool tone neutral one, and we're also going to have the much warmer one. I really love the palettes that they come out with. Very everyday appropriate sort of palettes, and their formula is so user-friendly and easy. I honestly would recommend Sydney Grace to literally anybody and everybody who enjoys makeup, because they have something that could suit everybody. Usually for the sale, each day is a different sort of sale, so they do have 2 days out of the week where you spend X amount of dollars, then you will get the new palette for free. They told me X amount of dollars because they themselves don't know what amount of money you have to spend yet to get the new palette. They usually have a day where they have a percentage off singles, and when I say a percentage off, it is usually like 40-50%. It is not the measly 20%, and if it is like a 20%, then I'm going to be very upset at Sydney Grace. In past years, they have done a much higher percentage. I'm gonna go into Meadowhawk and then I'm gonna go into Firebutts because of course. They usually have a whole day on singles where you get X amount of percentage off on singles. They usually have a palette day. They have a mystery box day. And like I said, I started buying Sydney Grace from the mystery bags. It would come in an adorable little bag and you would get an array of different products. In previous years, they have done an eyeshadow only bag because there are a lot of people that like just to get eyeshadow, and they usually then have curated bags for a different theme or a different color story. Last year, I did get all 3 bags, so I will be linking that video linked down below. They don't really know yet the, I guess, criteria for the bags. They did say that one will be all or mostly eyeshadow, and there's going to be different themes. Details were not finalized when I got my email sent out. Like, look how easy and blendable this is so far. The only thing that I think Sydney Grace messed up on is they told me the mystery bags or boxes, now it's in a box. They are no longer going to be doing the bags. They're going to be putting it in a nice, cute, little sturdy box, which is, to me, less useful. I pulled out 3 of my Sydney Grace bags. I use these every single time I travel. I hope this year they realize the boxes are not that big of a hit and they go back to bags, because these were nice little bags. They held a lot and they were usually cute little colors, and the color of the bag dictated the color or the theme that was inside. These were my favorite bags that they came out with overall, and maybe these were too expensive for them to make, but it is one of those compact little boxes. Yeah, it's not as big as the other ones, but what I would do is, I don't pack with a whole lot of makeup anyway, is like one I would pack for my makeup stuff. Makeup goes in here. Or I would put my makeup in one of these bags and do my eyeshadow palette and brushes in this bag. And you can stack them on top of each other and they fit into your luggage or whatever so easily. And then the other one I would do is like, look how pretty these are. But then the other one here, I would put, you know, toothbrush, toothpaste, deodorant, perfume, you know, the body care items. These bags were my absolute favorite. I am so disappointed that Sydney Grace is not doing bags this year, and to top it all off, they're not doing these types of bags this year. I have no clue the reasoning behind no longer doing bags, but that makes me very upset. And it's a good reason for me not to purchase the mystery bags this year, because I know at some point you don't need any more makeup bags, but I use those bags every single time I travel. And I have also given, I had a purple one of these, and my niece, when she turned 5 or something like that, she was getting into her mom's makeup. So I went to Ulta and got a bunch of Essence and like Wet n Wild makeup, good makeup, cheap makeup. And I made a little cute little makeup bag gift for her. So you can gift things in these. I love the bags and I'm very disappointed we no longer get the bags. They did tell me they are coming in these cute little like gift box sort of things. I don't ever use gift boxes. I want a travel bag, damn it. And I know we're not getting one of those. At the very end, I believe they do like a site-wide thing to kind of get rid of any extra inventory that they may have. I don't think I've ever paired these two colors together, and it is looking beautiful here. I'm super impressed, super happy with today's look. It's like low-key a summer watermelon sort of vibe. I'm totally here for it. I have talked very highly of Sydney Grace, and they have a plethora of products. I'm not using the eyeshadow brush today, but they do have brushes as well, and they come in this beautiful wooden brown, you know, handle. Beautiful brushes. They're so incredibly soft. They wash really amazingly. I have no complaints. I have a face and I have an eye brush. Products that I do not recommend from Sydney Grace. I don't think they do lip products well. If you've seen my recent eyeshadow palette collection video, I decluttered all of my Sydney Grace like lip cream things. I think they're too pigmented. I think they're too sticky. They have a weird smell to them. I don't enjoy it. That is the one and only product that I do not recommend from Sydney Grace. Everything else is amazing, and everything else I recommend you go and purchase. I have recommended Sydney Grace to friends, and I think they do an amazing job catering towards like the everyday natural person. I think this is the eye look for today. What I did was I used Tree Hopper here in the crease. I used Death Moth in the outer corner. I used Meadowhawk all over the lid, and then of course I used Firebutt on that inner part of the lid and the inner corner. Really love today's look. For their powder cheek products, I have another Shop Miss A palette here, and this is where I have highlighters and blushes, and this is technically a bronzer, but I mix it in with my other stuff. So I have Radiant Morning, which is this sort of color. I have Velvet Gold and First Date. This is them swatched out in that order. I don't know which one I will use today. I will probably use this bottom one. what was it, First Date. For blushes, my all-time favorite blush is Santa Monica Pier. It is a very light, cool toned pink blush, but for someone my skin tone, it looks so beautiful. This is a peachy sort of shade and called Peach Flame. Paris Skies is a beautiful one for this winter time because it's like a cooler tone purple. And the bronzer here is in Banana Bread, but I kind of mix it. And those are those four swatched out. I will probably use my favorite Santa Monica Pier. Oh, and if I were to get one other thing from Sydney Grace, I would probably get a single blush or highlighter to fit in this spot, because it just bothers me having an open spot. Again, we did do some underpainting, so this is a little overkill in my everyday life, but whatever. And for my blush, I'm gonna use Santa Monica Pier because that is just my favorite blush to use out of all the ones that I have. If you are a light-skinned person, it is stunning. If there is some blush blindness, that is just because I have underpainted, but those are all the cheek products. I think they blend on the skin so lovely. And then this is the eyeshadow look that I came up with today. Some miscellaneous products before I finish the rest of my face and finish the rest of this video is, I believe last year they came out with nail polishes. This nail polish is in the shade Peach Sweet Tea, and I mean the packaging is really cute, the color is really pretty. I think this is just an average normal nail polish. I don't think it is above all other brands or formulas or anything. It's a fine, it's like an average run-of-the-mill nail polish. If there is a color that really speaks to you, if it's on sale or whatever, I don't see anything wrong with it. It's just I don't think it is a product that you have to run out and purchase. They also have an entire like bath and body section, and they have perfumes. So this little guy is called Night Jasmine. I got it in a mystery bag, and it's one of those like scent bird, and you can pop it out. For having this a year and I have not really used much of it, I feel like that's pretty good. Jasmine is not a scent that I really enjoy. I think it reminds me too much of Old Lady. But it does smell like jasmine. These scents stay for a very long time. I really enjoy this travel type of case. I would totally be interested in a scent that isn't jasmine, but I also wanted to let you know they have Bath & Body Works products as well, and they do have perfumes. Also with the mystery bags, they tell you what you're getting. They're telling you what you may or may not be getting. Like they would be like eyeshadows, blushes, you know, they said a perfume, they said a nail polish, you know, they said what would be in there. It's just the colors would, or the scents, you know, they would switch up a little bit. They also have an entire men's section, so if you want to take a gander for your brother, your dad, your husband, whatever, if you want to take a gander, see what they have in the men's section. That came out relatively recently as well. I don't think I have any other notes. Sydney Grace is the first indie brand I believe I've ever tried. I love their range of products, and I think that is a true sign of success in an indie brand when they expand this way. Sydney Grace still goes above and beyond, and I love and appreciate their brand so much. I talked about the new palettes. I talked about the different types of sales you may be seeing. I don't have specific dates on when those sales are happening, and I do not have specific percentages and money amounts for free gifts and stuff like that. Told you about the mystery boxes. They're no longer in bags. I'm very disappointed in that. They will have one that is all or mostly eyeshadow, and they will have ones with different themes. Usually they're colored themes. They're not going to be restocking any multi-chromes that are currently out of stock. They will not be able to restock the small and medium magnetic palettes as well. I do not recommend lip products. I do not think they do those well. And literally yes to anything else. I mean, maybe not the nail polish. Like, you could take or leave with this. Everything else, 10 out of 10 recommend. You just know, you gotta know yourself and your makeup style. Like, if you know you're not gonna use a cream eyeshadow, don't be buying Sydney Grace cream eyeshadows. But I feel like the Sydney Grace cream eyeshadows is what really put them on the map, and it's still a bomb-ass formula. What will I be buying during the sale? Powder Mineral Foundation is really high up there on my list. I would like to get a singular blush or highlight for my palette to fill that empty little space. And I would totally buy more brushes if I did not have a million brushes already. I'm going to be doing the rest of my eye makeup. I'll do liner, mascara, I'll put on a lip product because I don't have any from Sydney Grace right now. And I shall be back for the final look. This here is the finished full face of Sydney Grace. The lipstick I ended up putting on was Ginger Snap from Cosmic Brushes, but the cheeks look stunning and glowy and pretty. The eyeshadow look is so gorgeous. It reminds me a little bit of a watermelon. I highly recommend you check out Sydney Grace on the 7th of July and check out their sales. They will be giving more information out on their Instagram, and I'll leave their Instagram link down below about the sale leading up to the sale so you can better see if you're going to purchase on what day. Hopefully you guys loved and appreciate this video, and I will leave last year's recommendation link down below, and I will also leave last year's mystery bag unboxing down below as well. I love and adore Sydney Grace. I think it is one of the best indie brands that is out there. They have universally amazing products. I love and appreciate all of you guys for watching, and let me know if you do pick up anything from the Sydney Grace sale. And I love and appreciate you guys so much, and I shall see you guys next time.